Contract closure and termination. A contract can be closed in two manners: by its conclusion or preliminary termination. To close a contract, the contract manager is required to open the menu Contract Management from the main menu. This will open a tabular screen showing all contracts under his or her management. Then the contract manager is required to find and select the contract, and then click on the Details button. Now the system shows a summary page with basic information on the contract and all related documents. Step 1. Contract information. In this step, the system shows existing data on the contract. To proceed to the next step, click on the Continue button. Step 2. Guarantee liability period. In this step, the contract manager may manage delivery guarantees. The contract manager may insert in the system the following guarantee data: default liability period, read-only data; expiry of the guarantee liability period, planned date, read-only data; guarantee relinquishing, planned date, read-only data; withheld funds. The manager is required to place notes based on specific contract conditions. Save and continue. Step 3. Contract closure. In this step, the contract manager is able to manage important data related to the fulfillment of contract conditions: date of completion, conclusion of works, services, supplies, receipt, handover, planned date for issuance of completion certificate, contract conclusion, contract conclusion date, receipt handover, date of completion certificate, final payment, date and amount of final payment. Date of contract completion is an important date for the system. The system will automatically change the status of the contract to terminated on the day following the termination of the contract. Noteworthy: if the contracting authority manager does not utilize the contract closure function to note relevant data on the termination of the contract, the system will automatically use the date marked in C01 as the contract termination date, and will change the status of the contract to terminated. However, the contract card will remain free of data regarding contract closure. To save data and proceed to the next step, click on the Save and Continue button. Step 4. Final Admission Certificate. Here the system shows the page used for administration of documents related to the admission certificate. The manager of the contracting authority uploads the final admission certificate and approves it by clicking the Approve and Send to Economic Operator button. After sending, it can verify the status of the document approved by the contracting authority's manager. Save and continue. EO Contract Closure. When the CA contract manager issues the final admission certificate, he/she uploads the document in the system and sends it to the economic operator. The EO user can download and view this document. To view the final admission certificate, the EO user is required to open the Contract Management article in the main menu and then select the My Contracts submenu. Afterwards, the EO user selects the contract and clicks on Contract Closure. Step 1. Final Admission Certificate. In this step, the EO user can download and view documents related to the admission certificate. Download, upload, printing and approval of the document. The EO user can download and view said documents. To continue to the next step, click on the Continue button. Step 2. Guarantee liability period. In this read-only step, the system presents the following information regarding the guarantee: default responsibility period, guarantee expiry liability period, planned date, relinquishing of the guarantee, planned date, expiry of the guarantee liability period, relinquishing of the guarantee, withheld funds. To continue to the next step, click on the Save and Continue button. Step 3. Contract closure. In this read-only step, the contract manager is able to manage important data related to the fulfillment of contract conditions: date of completion, conclusion of works, services, supplies, receipt, handover, planned date for issuance of completion certificate, contract conclusion date, receipt, handover, date of completion certificate, final payment, date and amount of final payment. To continue to the next step, click on the Save button. After the closure of the contract, the status of the contract will change to terminated. Contract termination. When contract execution reaches a point where termination is the only real choice, any contracting party may initiate the termination process by presenting the other a notice on preliminary termination. Noteworthy, contract termination process here only addresses registration of termination data in the electronic procurement system, whereas decisions on preliminary termination notices and final termination decision are taken by persons or instances so authorized under the applicable legislation. To register a contract termination, the contract manager is required to open the Contract Management article from the main menu. Select Procedure and click on Details. Now the system will show the summary page with basic information on the contract as well as the related documents. The contract manager is required to click on Contract Termination to initiate the termination process. In the first step, the system shows existing contract data on read-only basis. To proceed to the next step, please click on Continue. Step 2. Notice on preliminary termination. The contracting authority manager uploads the notice on preliminary termination. Upon upload, the document is sent for approval to the economic operator. Save and continue. In the third step, the response of the economic operator on the notice for preliminary termination may be created and uploaded by the contracting authority and the economic operator. The contract manager will be duly informed when the economic operator approves the document. Save and continue. In the fourth step, in contract termination, date of contract termination should be placed only when contract termination decisions are issued by the contracting authority. Reasoning is provided. The contract will automatically change status to termination on the date preceding termination. Save and continue. In the fifth step, the contracting authority manager uploads the contract termination decision. To save data, click on Save. Contract termination, economic operator. To enter in the data and documents related to the termination, the economic operator user is required to open the Contract Management article from the main menu. And then select the procedure Contract Termination button. The system further shows documents and data related to contract termination. In the first step, preliminary termination notice, the economic operator user is able to download the termination document. Upon checking, the user can approve or reject the document on behalf of the economic operator. After confirming the status, the document is considered approved by both parties, contracting authority and economic operator. Step 2. Response of the economic operator to the notice on preliminary termination. The economic operator user uploads the EO response document against the preliminary termination notice. After uploading, approval is performed by clicking on the Approve and Send to the Contracting Authority button. The contract manager will receive the message on termination. To save data and proceed to the next step, click on the Save and Continue button. Step 3. Contract Termination Decision. The economic operator user can download the termination decision uploaded by the contracting authority. Click on the Save button. Step 4. Contract Termination. In this read-only step, the system shows the following information regarding contract termination: contract termination date, contract termination reasons. Contract termination date is an important system date. The system will automatically change the status of the contract to termination on the date following contract termination.